I'm Danny Epperson, and I'm inside the historic Commodore Dinner Theater in downtown Portsmouth. Thanks for joining me for WHRO's Cinema 15 and our presentation of 1984's Places in the Heart. They say you can't go home again. Well, writer and director Robert Benton wrote his Oscar-winning screenplay by cobbling together stories from his childhood home. He then literally returned to Waxahachie, Texas to shoot the film. Places in the Heart is set during the Great Depression and tells the story of Edna Spaulding. Sally Field plays the woman struggling to save her home and family after tragedy strikes. She's aided by some unlikely figures, a drifter played by Danny Glover and a blind man played by John Malkovich. Places in the Heart is a story of grit and determination that deals with poverty, racism, and overcoming obstacles. The Depression-era South was not hospitable to women, African Americans, or people with disabilities. Yet this trio bands together to do something remarkable. Robert Benton brings an authenticity to his storytelling with moments that feel so real they might have come from a documentary. The stellar cast includes Lindsay Krause in her only Oscar-nominated performance as Edna's sister.
I swear you are just like Daddy.
The film also marks the first pairing of actors Ed Harris and Amy Madigan, who were married during the production of the film and would go on to make many more movies together. And John Malkovich makes his feature film debut in Places in the Heart.
I am not some kind of freak that is here on display for the amusement of those hooligans you call children.
He also earned his first Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. I'll be back with more behind-the-scenes stories after the movie, but for now, hit the lights, pull up that cotton throw, and get ready for Places in the Heart. Wow. What a powerful film. And how about that ending? That final scene divided critics. Some enjoyed the theme of communion and redemption. Others felt that merging the dead with the living crossed a line and didn't feel connected to the naturalism of the rest of the film. However, there were some amazing performances in this movie. Sally Field's 1985 Oscar speech became legendary, although it is famously misquoted.
But this time I feel it, and I can't deny the fact that you like me. Right now, you like me. Thank you.
But that's not how most folks remember it. Even Jim Carrey got it wrong in The Mask.
You love me. You really love me.
Well, I, for one, do like Sally Field, and I love her performance. What you may not know is her character was based on Robert Benton's great-grandmother, who was widowed when her husband, the sheriff, was shot and killed. She heroically raised 4 children on her own while managing the family farm. There must have been something in the cultural zeitgeist in 1984. 3 films released that year dealt with families trying to save their farms. Places in the Heart, The River with Sissy Spacek, and Country, starring Jessica Lange. All 3 leading actresses were nominated for Oscars that year, but Sally Field got the win for her role that, ironically, Lange had turned down. Benton's homage to his great-grandmother included other real-life inspirations. Danny Glover's Moses was based on an African-American man who worked for his grandmother, and John Malkovich's character was based on Benton's blind great-uncle, who made brooms and chairs. One last detail in the keeping it real department: Benton insisted that all of the women in the film wear girdles because the undergarments of the era changed the way women moved. Fortunately for us moviegoers, Benton was able to turn all of these real people in his life and authentic details into one of Hollywood's most memorable films. Well, that's all I have for this week. I'm Danny Epperson, and I'll see you next time for WHRO Cinema 15 and another classic movie.